We got Big Bluto, Chris Walby joining us from Winnipeg today. There he is, Bomber great, CFL on CBC great. Good morning, Mr. Walby. How you doing?
Hey, Rod, great to see you. Great to see the professor there beside you. I apologize for having such a small little screen. I'm hard to believe I get my big little head in that little picture there, but it's all good, brother.
It is all good. The number one question I have for you is, have you eaten a Walby burger? You probably get asked it every day. Have you eaten one?
No, I have not attempted it yet. I look forward to the challenge. I believe they'll be out at the Banjo Bowl again, but having said that, that's a monster burger, man. I don't even know if a guy like myself could eat that. I know my kids tried it. They loved it. The reports I'm getting back, it's all good, so I'm happy as heck, man.
It does look amazing. For $45, it can feed a family of 9. I think it's the best deal in Winnipeg. So you see the sports doctor here. We've been talking about the Bombers, Chris. Where are you on where they are right now as a team getting ready for the Banjo Bowl on Saturday?
I think they're in excellent position right now. I think they're going to split the series. Obviously going, even when I played, going to, the old field, it was always a tough place to play in Saskatchewan. And I know the record is 1-14, now 1-15 the last 50. I don't know. You know what? It's just very difficult because you got such passionate fans. And I've always said that. Even when I worked at CBC, I said, you know what? Wherever I went, there was a sea of green. And, I know the people in Winnipeg might, run their shopping carts into me for saying this, but I have to admit, I think the Saskatchewan fans are the best right now, just the way they embrace that team. Maybe because it's the only big ticket there, I don't know, but I just got to say that everywhere I go, they're really passionate about that team.
Chris, on social media, I'm taking a little bit of heat because there's a lot of ifs and buts and ifs and buts. But I firmly believe if the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense came out stronger on Sunday in Sunday's game,
absolutely,
and that would have been a much different story. Like I say, taking a little bit of heat of that. But that bend don't break defense that put us in that bad situation because you can thump your chest all you want about not scoring touchdowns on us. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders didn't need a touchdown. All they needed was a field goal. So I think that had to have been what I would call a miscue on the defensive strategy in those last 2 minutes.
I think they loved it when they played against Edmonton. They held them to 14 field goals. But having said that, you can't do that all the time. And I was pissed off because, I don't know if I can say that. I apologize to the viewers there. But having said that, that's O-line mentality. We forget where we are all the time, okay? But listen. You know what? They gave up 15 passes of 10-plus yards. 15! And, you're playing so soft. Yeah, I understand you don't want to get beat deep by these guys, but you can't give them that much of a cushion. Have some confidence, man. Little bump, run with them, and if they come up, make the tackle. They just made it easy for these guys. I don't like the term bend, don't break. I just think it's one of those things you got to play a little bit more aggressive. I think their tackling was poor. I think Coach Rich, they played a decent ball. Listen, don't get me wrong. Correct. I think they played excellent ball. But having said that, when it comes down to the crunch time and you got that other team on the 5-yard line and you can't stop them, come on. It doesn't matter. Then you throw the rest of the game out because the other 57 minutes doesn't mean a damn thing.
You said you predicted a split, and I've actually picked the Bombers to win on our television show that we do, Chris Walby. But why will it be? Will it be scheme, emotion, or both?
Well, I think a couple things. I think Strebler is slowly progressing into a quarterback. I heard you guys before I got connected here talking about his days as a South Dakota Coyote. I think he had 43. He was a runner-up for the Walter Payton Award as top, college player. He threw for 40. He had 43 touchdowns, and interesting, 32 were passing, only 11 rushing. So he can throw the football.
Absolutely.
Right now he's just making decisions. Those 2 interceptions were costly. Yeah. But having said that, I think he's progressing at a right rate. Now he's got the crowd with him, not against him. Now you have an ability to check off. You can maybe change the play. I think Cody Fajardo is going to go and experience what Chris Strebler had last week in Mosaic Field. It's going to be very difficult for Cody Fajardo to change the play. They're going to have to go on a silent count. So I just think the fact that we got the crowd now, the 13th man is in our locker, and I think that it's going to be really tough for Saskatchewan. But having said that, we have to make sure we do not allow those guys to come out and drive to a 10-0 lead. Obviously we can't have another first quarter like we did in Saskatchewan.
Chris, we had a heated debate in the first hour of the program with the Silver Fox on the safety. Where do you stand on teams giving up the safety?
Oh Lord, oh Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. You know what? You know what? I guess in certain instances, if you're worried about field position, but we've seen that happen a couple of times where they give a safety up, they punt, and the guy returns it back to where it originally would have been anyway if they kicked it. So I guess it's all about the fear of the returner, right? I mean, Janarian Grant has excellent return abilities. And I got to give Saskatchewan credit because I really thought that in our pregame when we did TSN 1290 here, I really predicted that Janarian Grant would be a difference maker on special teams because of the fact that Saskatchewan allowed 24 yards per return to Ottawa the week prior. So they really toughened up, and their cover teams did a great job on Janarian Grant. But now going back to safeties, I'm not a big fan of them, but that's part of the game. And one of the things I love about the CFL is we have differences.
Well, I love your work, what you did on CBC, and of course, doing the stuff with I think it's CFRW 1290. Just fantastic. Now, as a guy that has I was in the league for 17 years with regards to scouting, I don't think we will ever find another Chris Walby. I think you were probably one of the best tackles to ever play this game. And when you and Gorell, and I know Miles pretty good now, when you guys were together, it was just an incredible offensive line.
I appreciate that comment. I'll tell you what, Miles got to come and they put him beside the locker beside me, and we got the biggest gift. Some of the guys in the locker room cut 2 5-gallon water jugs and strapped them with ivory handles for our drinking glass. So after every game, the rookies had to make sure that they were full of a beer can. So it was a wonderful time. But no, listen, we did something that I noticed in the game, and I had to play it back. And I saw that Stanley Bryant went over to the side outside of Hardrick. Hardrick moved to guard. Stanley Bryant went to tackle, and they brought Drew Desjardins for the right side. And when they finally scored that touchdown on a 3rd and 1 on the goal line with Strebler. Interesting that's what we do with Miles and myself. They move us from the tackle position to the guards for short yardage.
Wow.
I thought that was a brilliant move to put the biggest boys you got in the middle or whatever, or overload aside. So pretty cool. But I appreciate the compliments, guys. Seriously, there's a lot of great ball players that played before me, and there'll be a lot after me. So it's just nice to be recognized in that group.
Now, I've talked to some of the guys that know you. Are you still drinking Lucky beer?
Yes, I am.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Hey, shares go up every summer by 30%.
Well, by the way, Great Western Brewery's just come on board. So, Chris, we'll be shipping some out to you at the lake because Great Western wants to branch out into Manitoba and Alberta as well. So there you go. If you like beer, you can have my share, Bluto. You know that. And by the way, you talked about line play. Your take on the long snapper Chad Rempel being knocked out of the game and just the hit itself, because that apparently is what Coach O'Shea was all upset about after the game.
Well, you know what? I was on the morning show this morning. There you go. And I was telling the guys how I would handle it. It's such a simple solution. It's a 5-yard rule. So if you want to have somebody over that long snapper, you give them 5 yards and you can block them. I mean, you can't, that just prevents the running them over. Listen, I know Chad Rebel, there was no penalty on the play, but I still think, he's still vulnerable because even if he snaps up quickly, I don't think he's ready to take the pounding he took. So for me, I think it's a tough scenario. I mean, you're basically looking at the backside of your rear end, and all of a sudden you come up and there's a guy 280 pounds running you over. It's unfortunate Chad got hurt. It's an unfortunate situation. It's part of the game. When we played back then, you were told to go run the guy over. Hopefully you'd get a bad snap, a high snap, anything, right, to create the turnover. Nowadays, you've got to protect these guys. I understand that that's the new wave of the CFL. But having said that, just give them 5 yards. Hey, Ambrosi, if you're listening, that's what you got to do, brother.
Well, he's going to be on the show on Monday, which we look forward to that. But, Chris, obviously you're fired up for Saturday's game. It gets even more fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been jacked for a while. I think these two, even when you're not playing, you circle them on your calendar because this is the best rivalry. It's a prairie rivalry. They're always close games, and it's always beautiful when they're the two top teams going at it for first place, especially this weekend in Winnipeg. We have to get a split. We can't let you guys steal another one because obviously you'll have the season series. So, a lot of pressure on us, especially without Nichols, without Harris. They say Lucky Whitehead's banged up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lineup we put forth out there at home over at IG Field.
Chris, thank you. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, guys, and I apologize for the connection. I would like to show my whole body. Oh, okay.
Hey, the connection was just fine, and where our screen isn't big enough. Thanks, Mr. Walby.
Thank you, Rod. Always a pleasure, guys.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.